no idea what I'm gonna do with this movie. Mm-hmm. Like I'm just like everything that could have gone wrong with Party Hard has gone wrong, and even the
5 points. Okay.
I see you got your Vogue thing going. Hit him with that switch, got your ego showing. Dressed to impress, so we good all night. Drinks in the air, cause we tryna live life. What's up? Put your Vogue thing on. What's up? Put your Vogue thing on. We good? Put your Vogue thing on. Life's too short, we ain't worried about none.
Stick that up later. Ah, man. You're supposed to look at you, right? Okay.
You can look at the camera. Honestly, you don't look at the camera all the time. Yeah. But you can, make... the camera's always here. And it's watching.
I hate being on camera.
Do you really?
I do.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of ironic.
Yes.
You're behind the camera.
Yeah, I like being behind the camera. First day of shooting, I was in front of the camera, and it did not go well at all. Just because I kept messing up my own lines that I wrote.
In this movie.
Yeah, in Party Hard.
I remember that.
Were you there for the first day?
I don't know. Tell me how the first day went. Actually, first let me just...
Yeah, you asked the question, and I'll answer them.
Okay. What's going on? My name is Cole Connor. This is the 5th Cole Connor podcast, and today we have the beautiful, the great hair, the great bearded Nicholas William Clay.
He said it backwards. Dude, yeah.
Ah, shit.
I'm gonna be directing this.
I'm sorry. Damn, I started thinking about it. I was trying to make the jokes. What's going on? My name is Cole Connor. This is the Cole Connor podcast number 5, and today I have the beautiful, the bearded William Nicholas Clay. Was that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for having me, Cole.
No problem at all. Friends call him Nick.
Yeah, friends call me Nick. Professionally, I do William Nicholas Clay. It's kind of like my signature on my films and stuff like that.
It sounds really professional.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Nick just sounds a little too slackerish and not professional.
Yes.
But here we are.
Today is a pretty interesting day for you. Because the tickets for Party Hard,
yes,
your brand new movie,
yes,
are up online right now.
Go
to
now.
partyhardmovie.com.
Yes.
Partyhardmovie.com. You can get them. I will be there because I'm in it.
He's already got tickets.
I've already got tickets. I got 2 tickets. I'm looking for someone to come with me. if you want to come, just let me know. September 22nd.
Yes. 7 p.m. Big Mo, Moneta Drive-In. Double feature.
And
cool
performances.
Stuff. Yeah, with live performances.
Yeah.
Not by me.
Hero is going to be performing.
Yes.
And then he's not very good, but just kidding.
He's alright. It's pretty good.
He's great. And Boo Hag.
Yeah.
Which they're fantastic.
Yeah, Columbia rock-based band. Boo Hag's performing, and then Hero's performing, and then we go into the films after that. And there'll be an intermission between films too, so.
And the second film that's playing is also a local.
Yes, it's directed by Ebony Wilson, called 2025 Prelude to Infusco, and it's a post-apocalyptic survival thriller with a much bigger budget than Party Hard. But it also stars Hunter Bolton, who is my lead actor in Party Hard, so it's you get a double feature of Hunter.
Yeah,
so.
It's funny how it works out.
Yeah. But I just reached out to Ebony, and I was looking for a second, local film when we started passing around the idea about doing this at the drive-in, and then she agreed. So it's pretty cool stuff.
That is cool, man. How did you make that happen? Because. So, I think of local films, I actually, not much comes to mind. I know there are local films, but how did you, I'm going to ask you more about the movie later, but how did you make this opening happen? Because a lot of times when people make content or movies or whatever it is, you just kind of put it out there and you hope that something happens. So what made you want to do the drive-in thing? People, I'm sorry for the audio today. It is not because I just forgot. I forgot to bring the mics, and I was driving to Columbia, and I was so looking forward to this, and I was distracted, and it's my fault. But just the conversation is going to be good enough on its own. Without having to have the mics. So.
He just might need to project his voice a little more.
Yes, I'm going to have to project my voice a little more. The director.
Yeah. I'm going to direct this whole thing now.
But so how did you make the drive-in happen? What made you kind of do that?
Yeah, so, you know, with everything going on in 2020 so far, we originally had an idea to do a premiere in May. And then obviously things changed in March, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do with this movie. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm just like, everything that could have gone wrong with Party Hard has gone wrong, and even the release is like going wrong. So it's like, I don't know, I'm just going to release it online. I don't care.
Exactly.
Anymore.
That's what happens. You know? You get like stressed, and it's just like,
yeah. And so eventually a bunch of people brought it up to me, and they're like, why don't you do the drive-in? And I'm like, there's no way like I'm going to be able to do the drive-in, or there's no way like people are going to go to the drive-in. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, I was just in my feelings at first, like, it's not going to happen. Yeah. No one cares. No one's ever going to watch this.
It's a real thing, though.
Yeah, and eventually the inception, the idea just kept growing inside of me, and I was like, you know what, let me just slide in the DMs of the Big Mo and like see what happens. And they were very, very open to the idea, and they've really worked with us on it, and they like gave us like creative control over the entire event. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm gonna have my own people working at the box office, and we've got access to all 3 screens if need be. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, and then as far as like finding a second movie, I just looked around for 2 I've seen but haven't quite gotten to know yet. It's like, this is a cool opportunity to get to know other filmmakers too, and bring other people out, and like, so
they're here. Yeah, like there are like tons of them here. Yeah, I feel like I sound like kind of a dick when I was like non-existent. I know they're here. It's just like,
and it's just about getting the stuff out there. I mean, especially in such a content-heavy world we're living in, where there's just so much material out there. It's like, how do you jump past that? Like with anything, really.
Great question for you.
Yeah.
This just popped into my head. How do you feel about content creators like myself, you being a director? Do you feel like there's, do you have any like negative feelings towards like quick content creators? Because it's like always coming out. Like, how does that?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I've never really thought about it until just now.
I don't really have any like disdain or like anger towards it. I don't necessarily see it as filmmaking. You know, it is content creation, but it still utilizes the same tools and format, which is cool. But I mean, like, working on a film, I feel, is a lot more like collaborative.
Yes.
You know, you have content creators. You'd probably do most of the stuff yourself. You're sitting in front of a computer or a camera, and you're editing. I mean, granted, on indie projects, you're still doing most of it yourself, but like, you know, it's like, we're at these locations, or we're making deals with locations, or, you know, there's music rights, or there's big. Like, there's all these working pieces to it, and if you get everybody on the same page, it's like they're all sharing that same feeling of like, this story is important to me, and I'm like, that's really cool. And it's like
very cool.
Yeah, so
it's like, or one thing that it makes me think about is, not only is it cool you have this collaborative piece that is one work of art that everyone feels passionate about, but it's like doing something for like a long period of time is, to me, very intimidating. It's like, how could I even focus on one thing for 2 months? I can't even figure it out. So it's really inspiring to see a group of people like come together and make that happen. Do you guys find it difficult?
Oh yeah,
because it seems like it would be difficult.
Well, everything about Party Hard was difficult, but you know, this was that first attempt to do a feature narrative, you know, and it was the first time learning how to do all of the ins and outs of like pre-production for the actual production and post and exhibition, and it's like, that was the point for me with this, is to learn all that. So it's like, I've messed up so many times along the way, but it's like, now I know how to do it.
What are some of your mess ups, can you say?
I started social media promotion too early.
Okay. You did, it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I know. I feel like because I read so many things. It's like, start your, you know, online promotion as early as possible, blah blah blah. But what they don't tell you is when you have like a year lull.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you post? You know, it's like, hey guys, we're still here. You know, we're not doing anything, but like, we have to wait a year to film, you know, this music event. You know, it's like,
I remember I was like. because I played in a piece of it, and then I felt like I was a whole new person when you asked me to film again. And I was just like, man.
But you were the closest to continuity when it came to how it looked.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was so funny because you did have that big change over that year, but like when you step back into it, you know, from August 2018 to August 2019, like you look the exact same. You had the exact same clothes and everything. Yeah. And I was like, wow, this is weird. Like we're all here a year later wearing the same exact clothes and the same exact thing, but like there's little differences. You know, like I had extra tattoos I had to hide, or like you know, Ty's hair was a little longer. Or, like yours was the closest. You know.
Yes.
But
I tried hard to make sure the clothes at least. Like,
yeah, I was very impressed.
Yes. As far as you kind of mentioned this earlier, but like playing in something, being in front of the camera and directing it, and
it's awful. That's why the room is awful. Tommy Wiseau know what he was doing.
But see, but there are so many people that do that.
There are.
I actually get inspired by it because I want to be in front of the camera, and I feel like I'm supposed to be in front of the camera, but this is like a lack of trying probably, but I feel like I can't find anyone that would see the vision like I would.
Yeah.
And that is, I think that, like I said, I think it's a lack of trying really, because I think you can be collaborative and figure that out. But what was it like for you? It's awful, but like why was it all? Like, what were some of the struggles of doing both?
Well, it's like you're prepping for all of these months ahead of time. You know, you think you have like your schedules down. You think you got this, you got that, and then day one comes around and like, you know, your solid state drive on your camera's glitching, so like the footage isn't, you know, complete, and then, you know, you're not done casting even though you started shooting the movie, so you're thinking about reaching out and doing that, but you're trying to focus on your lines and you're trying to focus on setting up. And I threw Justin Daniels' Hero as my boom operator, my sound recording guy that day, you know, like he's never done that before. And I'm just like, here, press this button and aim the mic here because I have to be, you know,
somewhere.
Yeah.
I remember there was, I actually do remember who messed up. I'm not gonna say, but somebody messed up so bad. It was like all the audio from like one whole day or something was. He like didn't push record.
Yeah, he didn't turn the microphone on.
Yeah. I can only imagine how stuff.
Yeah, I was very mad.
I wasn't personally mad, but I was mad for you. I was like.
But honestly, you just gotta keep going. You know, it's like I don't have time to like sit here because we only had the 2 weeks to shoot.
Yeah.
You know, and like anything that could go wrong did. Whether it's like we're filming outside and it starts thunderstorming because it's South Carolina, or like you know. Again, we were casting people as we were going along, and we're constantly rewriting the script to fit that as well. So it's a bunch of late nights, like, how do we make this scene work now because we're not going to have this person? And, like, you know, you play a fictional version of yourself in the movie, but, like, in older drafts, it was different people and different characters, and then it eventually just, like, worked its way into that. So, like, you had to have that kind of just... fuck it, we'll deal with it later, and you know. Yeah.
Does it cause a bunch of anxiety?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you ever struggle with anxiety?
Yeah. All the time.
That's a big thing for creatives in general, or all people really. But.
Yeah, and I actually developed a really bad like drug dependency habit during that whole time period. You know, and it was like, because it's like not only were you shooting like all night long, but it's like when everyone got to go home, like I had to go back to where I was set up at home base and dump the footage. You know,
it takes hours. Sometimes.
Yeah, because we're shooting raw, so it's like
you have to be careful too. So you don't lose anything.
Yeah, so it's like organizing footage, prepping things for the next day, printing off anything that I need, schedules, emails, all that stuff, and then it's like I sleep for a couple hours, and then we wake up and I get everything packed up and we go, you know, and go to the next schedule. So it's like, you know.
Yeah.
Coke and Adderall were a big, were a big part of my life, and then it's like I almost had a heart attack last year. Yeah, like my arm like went numb.
Are those two things together really dangerous?
Both of them are just dangerous separately. Yeah, all together.
Don't do drugs.
Yeah, don't do drugs. But so it was just like you're just constantly going, and then you realize when you get back, it's like I gotta kick this problem, and then I locked myself in a room for a week and detoxed and screamed at walls, and I was like, cool, now I'm good.
This reminds me of a show called The Kingdom. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
It's about the MMA show. You haven't. You really haven't. Well, one of the dudes in the show, I imagine, had it way worse than you had, because it was over like a really long period of time, but it was very interesting to see the way they detox from things like coke. And I mean, these people were fighters in the show, and it was just like they had to drop weight and detox at the same time.
Yeah.
It's such like a intense, grueling process. When you're filming and you have these GoPro scenes, this is what I wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah.
This is one of the scenes that I was involved with heavily, and it was really fun. Like, we just literally carried some GoPros and went downtown, and it was so natural, and there was just random ass people in it, and we just played the role, but it was really easy to play the role because we're just like a bunch of dudes.
Because I kind of just held back and was like, you know, you guys go have fun, but I'm gonna be here and supervise.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How did that, you like making that decision?
Well, that came in the writing process. I co-wrote the script with Steve in Canada when we lived together in Charleston.
Chill dude.
Yeah, and you know, we were talking about how do we film this in 5 points, because the whole movie I wanted to have like this really raw, you know, like almost documentary-esque feel to it. So it's like, how are we gonna pull off filming in 5 points with no money, but like keeping that environment? So we wrote into the script that Ty's character has a GoPro and he's using it because it's Chandler's like night back in town. So it's like we can incorporate that footage into the movie. So then when it came time to that, it's like, go have fun.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it felt like.
Yeah, and there's so much footage from that night, but like the sequence in the movie is only like 6 minutes, you know, 6-7 minutes. But it's like, maybe in the future I'll cut together like the full.
Yeah, that would be fun. That would be really interesting. And I think I was only there for like an hour or two or something like that.
Yeah, you were there for a good bit through the first.
I was, okay.
Yeah, couple bars. Yeah.
A couple bars.
Yeah.
It was a crazy night.
Yeah.
So crazy.
He was crazy when he left.
Yeah, exactly.
So we keep going.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, because you left and then Justin Daniels came in and like, you know, played in the sandbox a little bit, and then when he left, you know, the guys kept going, and then, you know, we ended up getting food later, and doing the whole thing. And then, yeah.
Where did like the idea come from for this movie? I mean, what? Like,
Yeah, we should probably talk about what it's about, right?
Yeah. What is the movie about? The movie's called Party Hard.
Yeah, it's called Party Hard. It focuses on Chandler, played by Hunter Bolton. And it's about how he's unsatisfied with the past mistake he's made in his life. He's just recently moved to Charleston after a bad breakup and like too many nights out with the boys. He's feeling stagnant, you know, so he's like, I'm just gonna up and move. Like, he's very impulsive person.
Yeah.
And and then, you know, a month into that move, you know, nothing's really changed like the way he thought it would. You know, so he's just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I thought this was gonna help me, and it's like, but now I'm feeling nostalgic. Like, I'm out at these bars by myself, and I'm seeing all these groups of friends and these couples, and it's like, I need to go back and, you know, fix my mistakes.
Yeah.
Right. But then he ends up on a, you know, late night odyssey of binge drinking and bar hopping with his buddies Ty and Jules, played by Brian Forbes and Ty Rao, and Ty plays a fictional version of himself as well in the movie, because there's no way to fake that type of personality.
That's so true. Ty's character.
Yeah, so throughout the night as they're going, because the whole movie takes place over one night, Chandler's trying to reach out to his ex-girlfriend Lauren, and he's not paying attention to all of his, you know, friends that's going on around him, and it's causing all this like tension between everyone, because Ty's mad that he moved without like really, you know, talking about what's going on.
Communication.
Yeah, communication. Yeah,
it's a big thing.
Yeah.
Well, where did it come from? Like, where did that?
Well, as you used to partake in, you know, back in 2015, we used to go to Eastern a lot, you know, and we'd be out all night long.
Those are good times.
They were good times, you know. We'd show up.
I never stayed out as late as y'all.
Yeah, but we would go out like every Monday or Wednesday, you know, and, you know, sometimes even on weekends, but like, you know, and we'd go from 10 a.m. to 5, 6 in the morning, you know, and then go to work the next day.
Jeez.
you know, and in between you're just drinking and eating food and socializing and dealing with drama and talking and playing pool. And I was like, I want to make a movie about that, you know, because I haven't seen a movie that specifically, you know, takes place over one night like this in such a kind of raw way. You know, there's been movies like this before, like Swingers with Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn, but like nothing.
I never saw it, but I heard it.
And that was like their kind of breakout, and I was just like, I could do that.
Yeah.
You know, and so
I love it, man.
I actually just saw on my laptop, like, I found an old hard drive and it had like scenes that were written back in 2015 that ended up in Party Hard. You know, like the character names were different, but like there's a whole scene out back of New Brooklyn with this argument between Jules's character and his like will they won't they character Haley, played by Elizabeth Jennings, and like that scene was written in 2015.
Crazy.
You know?
It's crazy how things like that in art come back around. Like you write it at a time where you're like, this is gonna happen like the next 6 months, but then shit happens like that.
And that's usually what I'll do. Like if I have a scene, I'll write a scene and just throw some fake names on it and just like I'll come back to it later. You know, and like sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But like there was a whole folder on this hard drive of just like scenes that ended up in Party Hard, or like variations of those scenes that ended up in the movie. So
that's cool.
You know, it was cool to look back on like, wow, this was a really horribly written scene, but now it's like pretty good in the movie, you know, like it actually worked out later. Or like, you know, there's a conversation the guys have about dolphins early in the movie, and that was written in another script of mine like way back in 2012 or 2011, you know, and I never did anything with it. And I was like, I like this conversation piece, so I'm just gonna take that and move it to that.
I do the same thing with songs. Like I'll write a song and I'll just really just like one line, and then everything else felt forced or just wasn't right, and then you take the concept and move it. That makes sense.
Exactly. I'm a big believer in like saving all of your, you know, all of your stuff. Like I found old footage from short films recently from like 2011, and I'm like, that's really cool. You know, like the actual like you know raw footage of it, not like just the short film. And like maybe when I'm bored one day, I'll do a re-edit. You know, just to like see what I could do with it now. You know, and it's like I like going back and looking at that stuff and keeping it.
Yes, that's why I'm connecting with you. Is like that. The filming in general, I love to film like all the time, and you capture these memories, and then when you go and like try to make. For me, it's like mostly content in general, but I can use it to tell a story that maybe at the time I didn't really know what it would be used for. But yeah, it's really cool. Man.
Exactly, like because you never know where like that inspiration's gonna strike at. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't think in 2020 I'd be releasing a movie called Party Hard back in 2015, but like, you know, the idea was there.
Well, how did things differ from your like life path? Like, what were your goals? How old are you?
I'm 28.
28.
Yeah, I'm 28. I was like, how old am I this year?
Yeah, it's hard to keep up, dude.
Yeah.
But like from like 18 to 28, how did your like goals change or whatever?
I've always had the singular goal of like I want to be a filmmaker, you know, but over the years, and especially working on Party Hard, like I said, you know, we're learning a lot as we're going. I actually really like the business side of it. I like the producing side of it. I like the
what's the difference for people that don't know between like directing and producing? Because I'm not even sure about
that. So there's a bunch of different titles for producers, you know, some are bullshit and some aren't. You know, there's like the executive producer, which is what I'm labeled as on Party Hard, which is solely mine. And then you have the producers, which is me, Steven Canada, and Hunter Bolton, right? So an executive producer, especially in TV, it's really more important in TV, but in film is the guy who's like, I like this idea and I'm going to make it into a movie, right? So they hire the writers, the directors, they oversee cast, crew, and the other producers and the money, and like they're like the general manager,
making sure it all happens.
Yeah, and they're there from the inception of the idea throughout production, throughout post work, throughout screenings. They're there from the beginning to the end.
Okay.
You know, so it's like an executive producer.
Okay.
You know, in bigger budgeted movies, like, you know, there's like studio heads that are kind of that role.
Yeah.
You know, but in smaller ones, it's usually the writer, director, or whatever. But and then there's like producers who put up the money, and then or they go and they gather the money.
Yeah.
You know, in our case, it's the guys who helped with everything, whether it's promotion or money or whatnot. You know, it was me, Steven, and Hunter.
Yeah.
Producing is just like, you know, there might be different producers who just strictly handle scheduling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'll make sure all the call sheets and times are done. They'll make sure people get to set on time. You know, so they might be like a co-producer over here. Or like this person might just handle catering or props. But you know, so but it's always like executive producer, producers, and then you know directors.
Gotcha.
Directors tell the story. They're the ones who are in control of the set.
Okay.
You know, and it's their vision that's, you know, if I was producing a movie and say you've made a movie before and I really like the way you told that story, I might hire you to tell the story that I want to tell based upon your vision.
So you would be
the
producer, and I would be the director.
Yeah.
God, it's weird. Okay, so back full circle.
Yeah.
So
then
your
everyone,
life goal, back to like your life, your goals and like filmmaking and stuff.
Yeah.
From like 18 to 28. I totally interrupted you because I was
No,
trying to make sure.
It's fine.
So how has that like fluctuated, and how like what brought you to like this place?
Shit.
I know it's a lot.
I mean, I myself have moved to Charleston because I was feeling stagnant in my life back in 2015. You know, and that was the thing. It's like, you know, I moved to Charleston. I literally made the decision like a month before I did. I was like, you know what? I'm going to move to Charleston. I'm going to pack up and go. And then, you know, I transferred jobs and went. You know?
Sounds impulsive.
Yeah. I do a lot of impulsive.
Anyways, so I want to talk a little bit more about impulsivity. I tend to find myself as a very impulsive person, especially with my recent decision to just leave LA and everything and come back here. A lot of times, we were just talking about this outside, when you start to get comfortable, you start to just be like I need to do something's not right, like I kind of spice it up. So I want to talk about some of the impulsive decisions that you made and how you feel like it's like affected your creative work.
Yeah, so at the end of 2015, moved to Charleston, and completely started over. I was like, I need to work, I need to, you know, meet people, like I need to just jump in, you know, if I don't shake it up, then I'm just gonna remain stagnant, you know, and and so I did, you know, and the first year was all about, you know, solidifying myself in a new city, and you know, I made really great friends. You know, one of my best friends in the entire world I met there, Sam Moore. Like, he's awesome. But yeah, so it's like that first year was just doing that and working like 2 jobs and just, you know, watching movies.
Right.
Yeah, and it was just kind of like, it was really relaxing because you were in a new city and like there wasn't any expectations. You know, and it was just kind of...
It's a fresh start. Like, it's
yeah,
cool,
and it was really, really relaxing. And then when Steve in Canada, when I moved to Charleston, he moved to Colorado. After the first year, he was moving back from Colorado, and I was like, come live with me in Charleston. So he moved to Charleston, you know? And then we ended up getting our own place, and then a couple small projects here or there, but then I was like, you know what? We need to do a feature film.
Boom.
Yeah, we've made so many short films and, you know, little ads or music videos or whatnot. It's like, we need to do a feature film. And so we started writing and...
Together.
Yeah, and like, you know, we would write different scenes out or, you know, and kind of go over each other's work and stuff. But, you know, when it became apparent that this was actually going to be a thing, you know, it's time to start planning it.
Yeah.
And so started planning to shoot the movie in Colombia in 2018 in August, and who we're going to cast and all this kind of stuff. And then I started working as an assistant GM at a movie theater in Charleston.
I remember that.
Yeah, so it was 40 plus hours a week plus, you know,
for real, man.
getting all this together, and also just trying to have fun while you're, you know, while it's happening, and you know, and then we were discussing. I'm just gonna go into the making of the movie.
Yeah, go for it.
And then I'll get back to your question.
Let's keep doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, and so then it came time to talk about like who we're gonna have in this movie. You know, originally we were gonna have Steven himself because he was an actor play Chandler. You know, but then I was like, who are we gonna get to be my cinematographer? You know, because my key choices aren't living in the area and we don't have a lot of money. And he's like, all right, well, I'll be the cinematographer. We just gotta find a lead character. And I was like, well, it's a long shot, but I'll reach out to Hunter Bolton and see, you know, if he'd be interested. And he read the script and he just felt it was very sincere and relatable, and especially having grown up in Colombia, you know. And
he was in LA.
Yeah, so that was one of the big costs of the movie, was just flying up.
What's up?
Yeah. But so we cast Hunter. Obviously, we wrote the role of Ty for Ty to play, and then Jules, the third lead, we actually cast somebody else originally, and then
I was gonna do it for a second.
Yeah.
Is that who you're talking about?
No.
Okay.
We casted another guy who lived in LA.
Okay.
And he dropped out 2 weeks before we were supposed to film, which is when I was like, that's one of the, you know, and to be fair, he started getting nervous. He's like, you know, I gotta fly out there and be away from work for like 2.5 weeks, and it's expensive in LA. Like, I need to make sure I have rent and income and blah blah blah. And I was like, fair enough, you know. He's like, don't be mad. I'm like, I'm not, but I gotta move on. You know, I gotta keep. Yeah. So, you know, I asked you. Steven and I had a roommate for a little bit in Charleston named Brandon, who we were like, he has a great personality. He's not an actor, but like, you know, we'll see. But it's like, and then Brian Forbes, who I was working with at the movie theater, was like, I'll do it. And I was like, no. It's like, no, for real, like, I want to do it, you know? And like, and I was like, all right, well, I mean, at this point, fuck it, like.
Well, let's go.
But he's a musician. He's used to being like, you know, on stage or performing, or like, you know, very personal.
It's a similar thing.
Yeah, and like that's just really what we were looking for in these parts, is like, who has a personality that can like shine through, because the way we're gonna shoot it is gonna be so down and dirty and quick, like, as long as everything just feels natural, you know, which is why like half the people in the movie play themselves, you know, or like a version of themselves, because like I wanted the characters that we wrote to feel like, you know, they're part of this world and environment, you know.
And I think the fact that a lot of people already knew each other, or like there was similar minds.
Yeah.
Because I know when I showed up on set, I was nervous. I definitely dealt with a lot more anxiety back then. Now I just don't really think about stuff and I just go do it. I mean, it helps way. It helps a lot more. But when I like showed up on set, I was extremely nervous. But it was like hero was there, you were there, and it just felt. I mean, everyone had that same energy, and though there was like a little bit of tension because like time crunch and stuff like that, it just felt good.
Yeah, and you know, like with anything like that, like the more you prepare ahead of time, like the better you'll be. Yeah. You know, like imagine if you, because like you probably didn't have everything memorized, but you had an idea of what the scene was going to be. You know, and you knew the starting point and you knew the stopping point and you knew what had to be said in between, right? Exactly. So it's like you were prepared in that way, just like everybody else was, and like you were able to bounce off of.
Except for Hero. Hero's not prepared.
Yeah, but you know, he only had like one or two lines during that scene, but like, you know, he knew where he had to be. Yeah, and like, you know, you and Hunter just bounced off. You know, it was great. It's a really, really, really fun moment in the movie. But yeah, so we casted Brian as Jules, and then we were like, all right, we're gonna set up base at my mom's house in Lexington, and Steven got a hotel, and then like Hunter was at his parents, and like, you know, it's like we got our bases covered, but we don't have the whole movie cap. Yeah. You know, and mind you, all this is happening again while we're working our, you know, day jobs. Yeah, and it's like we're traveling back and forth from Columbia a lot. Yeah. And Hunter suggested Amy Brower for casting originally, because she works at Trustis Theater, and, you know, so we partnered with her, and we're like doing you know, casting calls and doing interviews with people, and nothing seemed to be really working out. But
that's probably the time it's been processing. So
yeah,
you think it won't be, but it's just draining.
Yeah, and it's weird, like, you're sitting there, so it's like, so you want to be in a movie. You know? We don't really know what we're doing there, you know, so it's like,
but it's gonna be good.
Yeah, and like, so it came down to it, we started getting like, 2 days from filming, and it's like, we don't have any of the leading ladies casted, and so Amy, thankfully, her and Hunter talked, and she agreed to play a role. And she's an actress, and she's phenomenal. Like, she's great in the movie. Like, I do not deserve her in this movie. Like, she deserves a better movie. But how
you deserve her, man.
with how good of a performance she gives it.
Which is, it's always cool to have people that inspire you like that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And so when she came on board, we had to rewrite, because our original script for Party Hard, which I love, but it's now only in printed form. I have it on my bookshelf. It's pretty cool. But the story followed the 3 guys, and then you had 2 girls.
Okay.
And it was Maria and Jennifer.
Okay.
And you follow these 2 stories simultaneously, and then they'd eventually meet up in the 3rd act, and have like what you see eventually in the movie, right? But they would interact with each other at all these different bars throughout the night.
Okay.
So it was like a cool way to like weave like these stories together, these characters, because that's kind of how it is. If there's like a big night and there's stuff going on, like you might run into different people, especially in Colombia.
Yes.
So like we wanted to showcase that, but when we started filming, we only had 1 actress. It's like, all right, time to rewrite. So we combined the characters and changed up a lot of the script. But then we're shooting now, nobody's working their day jobs anymore. It's just
these 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Or did you quit the jobs?
No. I was
just for like those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were all still working, but we all took the time off.
Yeah.
And we're filming, and we're like, we don't have this part of Haley still, right? Which is the character that Jules interacts with throughout New Brooklyn, and literally it's the night before. We're supposed to film a scene with her, and it's like, what are we gonna do? Like, we don't have anybody.
This is a predicament.
Yeah. So it's like, Steven's like, I got this, and he like just starts going on Facebook and all the groups that he knows, and just suggested friends, even just messaging people left and right, like, this is what we're doing. It's
That's
tomorrow.
How you do it.
Are you interested?
That's
like, are you down? And like, finally, Elizabeth Jennings, she's like, yeah, that sounds cool. Having never done something like this before.
That's great.
So
an impulse decision.
Yeah, it was an impulse decision on her part. I'm glad she did. She's great in the movie, and like the first day for her was even hard, because it was like this 8-page like emotional roller coaster scene with Brian's character Jules, and then they have to kiss each other, and it's like, here you are, day 1. You don't have a lot of prep time, and you're kissing this dude. It's like, let's get to it.
That's the right attitude, though. Was she actually an actress or no?
She's worked in like theater and stage and stuff like that, and she is a production assistant now, and she's worked on shows like HGTV and things like that. So yeah, she's very familiar. But in terms of like doing something like this, like it was kind of like. And especially because it wasn't like, a big movie where you got like a whole crew. It's like a group right here, like 4 people, and it's like, yo, we're out here making a movie.
But even when you say that, for me, it felt like a big crew. Like, I've done like music videos where you get like a crew of 4 or 5, which is kind of like what it was.
Yeah.
But those feelings, when you're here in Colombia, that's like a cool feeling.
It was.
Just being on set, and like the fact that that's been made happen. It's pretty cool.
And we would all trade off, like if you weren't in a scene, like you're working behind the scenes. Like if Hunter wasn't in a scene, he's operating the boom pole, and he's our lead actor.
Which is beautiful. Man. It's like dope.
And then if I don't have a boom operator for sound, I'm operating sound. And directing, and so it's like
that's how you gotta do sometimes.
Which again is what led into the problem that I mentioned earlier of substance abuse. It's like, so much is going on.
So how would you prevent that? If you're like a filmmaker and you just like...
I don't know yet.
Still figuring out.
Like, obviously don't do drugs. But, I just calm down a lot more. With
it doesn't have to be so serious.
Yeah. With it being your first thing, like you want everything to go according to plan, and like you spent all this time planning it, blah blah blah. But it wasn't until like 4 or 5 days into the shoot is when we embraced the whatever happens, you know? Yeah.
It's so funny, man.
Because not only did the sound not record that day filming with you, but that's when our solid state drive gave out. So like we lost the footage from like that day, you know? But luckily we had ordered one ahead of time because we knew it was glitching. So like it arrived, but you know, we lost a day, you know, and you can't afford to lose a day when you're on such a tight schedule.
But you can let that destroy you, or you can just take the hit and just keep moving. Like, I've learned that just in content creation in general. You get this thing in your head about how it's supposed to go, what you're supposed to do, the schedule, and this and that, and it absolutely never turns out that way, as with most things in life. Yeah. But you can let it kill you, like me forgetting the mics. I thought about it for like 20 seconds, I just closed my eyes, and I was like, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
We got enough personality at this table.
Yeah. But it's annoying, and I could let that bother me really bad. But you just gotta move on.
And you know, and I did let a lot of things bother me.
Yeah,
I'm like,
and that adds up.
Yeah, I'm like, this isn't the version of the script that we wrote. You know, it's like it's gonna be awful and like yada yada yada. But I mean, like, and then you hear and see all these other stories from other similar films or you know people, and you're just like, all right, cool, yeah, I'm not the only one.
Exactly.
And that helps, you know. And then for whatever I do next, you know, that'll really
just learn the lessons.
Yeah, and it'll help and like just kind of manage the time better and like, you know, just have fun with it.
Yeah, that's some keys, having fun.
Yeah, looking back on it, I had a lot of fun, but during those 2 weeks, like I was not like having fun. You know,
so funny to me. I just know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, so we finished filming as best we could, because there was still the New Brooklyn show aspect that we hadn't done yet, but we filmed all the scenes around it there, and we're just like, when are we gonna do this, you know? And so we had to eventually schedule it for 2019, you know? Crazy. So it was like a year later.
Yeah.
But so we finished filming. Last couple days of filming, I got an offer to get a dog, which I did. So it's like we finished filming, got back to Charleston, I got the dog, went back to work, started raising a puppy while going back to like 40 hours.
Raising a puppy is real.
While doing drugs.
Yeah.
And then
something happened.
And then I quit the theater I was at.
Yeah.
And started working at another smaller theater. So then it's like you're in a new environment, learning how to manage this place, and and so all this was going on, and then I was just like, you know,
like a breaking point. Something.
So then that's when I decided to, you know, get myself together and whatnot. But and so then I was like, now what? Now I'm back to square one. Like we have to eventually figure out how to finish doing this movie, but it's like new job again. You know, and I got a dog now, and it's like all these decisions, and then eventually I got offered the general manager spot at the theater I quit. So then I left this place and went to that.
What time point is this?
This is. I started in January 2019. Yeah, so at the end of December was when I got the offer for it, and then I started it. Yeah.
And when did you quit that?
That most recent? When I moved back to Columbia.
Okay.
So I started as the GM, and then I was working more than 40 hours a week, you know, and
that's a lot, dude.
Dealing with all this stuff on a salary isn't also fun either. When one night you're working 48 hours straight and you're not getting any extra money for it.
I hate those type of positions.
And then you have a really dominating, what's the title?
Boss.
It's not boss. She likes to think she's the boss, but
supervisor.
I guess district manager.
Okay.
But yeah, when you have that person micromanaging every decision and move you make, also, you know, and it's just like, why am I even doing this? You know, this isn't what I want for me, and I'm not in control of it. So it's like, fine, you can have somebody else. I'm gonna leave.
Yeah.
You know? And so I confronted her. I was like, 2 weeks, bye, you know, and then they let me go early, which sucked, you know, but whatever. I rented this house in Columbia. I was like, I'm gonna move back to Columbia, you know, and just start over, you know. And I moved back here, and then what happened after that? 3 jobs.
Yeah.
You know, trying to pay bills, trying to get this movie
Yeah.
finished.
So once you moved back here, you just
Yes.
picked up your job.
Yeah.
And you're still like editing the movie, trying to finish the movie. Or are you done with the movie at this point?
Movie's done. We're doing a few sound things here and
Okay,
there, and a few like color things here and there, but movie's done.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're trying to do all that, and eventually it's just like, I don't know how I'm gonna do any of this because I'm not making any money to put into my project.
Yeah, it's the constant struggle. I deal with that all the time.
Yeah.
It's like I make money and then I'm like, okay, I can do creative, and then I lose all the money, and I'm like,
Yeah, because for me it's not really about making money. It's just about, putting on a good show. It's about just putting a movie out there, I mean,
That's what makes you happy.
that's what I'm excited about its premiere, is that it's an event. It's not just my movie, it's 2 movies in live music for $8,
Yeah.
So it's a whole thing where porn playing, doing that.
I said porn. Yes,
Porn.
Porn money and stuff. Yes. So I want to take this back full circle. So what is? Yes, the movie's coming out, but you just made another impulsive decision where you. I say impulsive. I'm starting to sound negative. I'm not trying to say negative. I think it's a gut feeling. You have these gut feelings where it's like it's time to move. It's time to get uncomfortable. So you quit your most recent job.
Yeah.
And now you're.
I have quit my most recent job.
So
it seems like a lot of job swapping, doesn't it?
So what's next though? What is this move? What's the plan?
I was working the 3 jobs when I moved back.
Yeah.
And then the whole COVID-19 thing happened, and then we're on unemployment for months on end, and it's like, what's gonna happen? We're gonna premiere the movie, and then we're not, and then I figured out the drive-in thing, and yada yada yada, right? And I got my offer to come back to my main job, which was the theater here, and start cleaning. It's a certain big chain theater company that has a safe and clean program. And their safe and clean program consisted of them, at least at this theater, me doing all the cleaning in the auditorium.
Okay.
Right?
Boo.
And then the staff doing because like this theater was an older theater, so they didn't want to pay for a cleaning crew, right? They wanted the staff to do everything while you don't have the hours to give them. So you have 2 people working a kitchen, box office, cleaning auditorium.
And that's happening like right now during this?
Yeah. And so
I didn't even know movies were open.
Yeah, I mean it just opened back up. But so as we're going back and we're prepping all this cleaning, there's like 20 years worth of gunk in this motherfucker. And it's like, I don't want to get sick, first of all.
Yeah.
You're spending all this money to put your logo on all your hand wipes and all these posters about how safe and clean this place is, but like, what if I get sick?
Yeah. Sounds disgusting.
And then, meanwhile, I'm like trying to set up this event and like do all this promotion stuff, and it's like, I don't have the time either. Like I'm trying to clean an auditorium.
Hard to balance,
I'm trying to clean an auditorium, and I'm getting like 6 phone calls and like messages, and it's like I can't get to it.
Then we get to the point, and it's like
so and then to the point I was like, you know what? I'm quitting. Like I'll figure it out later. I've got enough right now to where I can make it to the premiere, and we'll see after the premiere. So it's like, but that's exciting.
Yeah, that's extremely exciting. That's like one of those major life-defining not life-defining, sorry, not frustrating. But
I've quit a lot of places and moved on and everything, and moved here and moved there, and but
it's kind of cool. Like as this is coming out, though, you're just like freeing up yourself to see what happens. Like where does life take you?
Exactly, because again, it's all a learning experience. So it's like, what part of this have I not done yet? And that's exhibition. I've never had a movie presented at a theater before, let alone a drive-in theater. So it's like, how do I do this, and how do I make it as big and fun and worthwhile as possible? Because it is in Moneta, it's 35-40 minutes away, so it's like you get the bang for your buck. And I feel like that is something that we all really need right now too, and not just to toot my own horn because I made one of the movies, but like it's we've been cooped up all summer, and we've got all this stuff going on politically, and it's just, we need a good time and a safe good time. And that's another thing with the drive-in, is that it's outdoors, and they have a very strict mask policy, and you're in your car, and each car is distanced between a certain amount of space, and like, so it was just
stay safe too.
It was just a really good opportunity And so we wanted to take advantage of it.
That's smart. I'm looking forward to it. Before we go, I do want to talk about some actual like movies, like classics. So I love movies. I watch movies all the time. Like sometimes 2-3 days, sometimes, especially in the evening. Yeah, I love movies. So can I get a top 5 from you? They don't have to be in order or anything crazy.
I can give you my usual go-to.
Okay, let's hear it.
Cause like I don't ever like top 5 or top 10 lists. Cause like I can go from like a classic movie to a really really shitty movie just because I like it.
Yeah.
Because it's all subjective anyways. You know.
So subjective.
So true. But in terms of like quality, I really like 12 Angry Men, directed by Sidney Lumet. It's still very relevant to today's time period, so you should check it out.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
All That Jazz, directed by Bob Fosse. Really, really, really good movie that he wrote.
Never seen that either.
Based upon his own life. He was a big dance choreographer in New York.
Okay.
Broadway, all that kind of stuff, and he predicted how he was gonna die.
Wow.
In the movie.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
He actually died that way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because he
kind of sad.
didn't take care of himself. Again, it was all the stresses of everything he's doing. He's editing movies. He's doing dance choreography. He's doing this and that, and it's just like he's like, I'm gonna die, you know, by my heart or what, and you know, he did. What else?
Be calm, people. It's not that serious.
Yeah.
It is, but it's not.
The Blues Brothers. That's always my favorite just to pop on, just because it's like it's got music. It's a musical, but it's got, you know, people playing themselves. Aretha Franklin, James Brown, Ray Charles. Then there's car chases, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real goofy movie, but like it's, you know, Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi at the height of their Saturday Night Live, you know, thing, and so it's really really fun. That's 3, right?
That's 3. Yeah.
Okay. Shit.
I'm hoping you name one that I know. Still not there yet.
I'll go easy and just say like any Tarantino movie.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I love Jackie Brown because it's based off an Elmore Leonard novel, and that's the only time Tarantino's ever adapted a book, and it's a novelist that I love.
Yeah.
So like it was just a cool combination of the two.
I like him a lot. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is great.
Yeah.
That's another great movie you can just put on.
Yeah.
Like just have it play.
Yeah.
And you can jump in and out at any time. And it's like, this is great. This is fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I totally feel that with that. Alright, one more. What we got? You have a James Bond poster.
I do. I mean, I love Bond movies, but let's go with On the Waterfront with Marlon Brando.
I didn't know any of them.
Yeah.
I've never even seen Jackie Brown.
Yeah, well, you should.
Alright. That's his top 5 list. They're not top 5, but you know.
Just like five great,
yeah.
cinema to sink your teeth into.
Yes, from a filmmaker himself.
Yeah.
My name's Cole. This is William Nicholas Clay.
Yeah.
Party hard. September 22nd.
Yep, 7 p.m. Big Mo.
Boom.
Double feature.
Check it out.
Music.
I'll see you there. And
He'll be on the screen and
I'll
be there in
on screen.
person. It'll be weird Twilight Zone.
Yeah. Alright, guys.
But cool. Thank you, everybody. Hope you enjoy.
We out. Peace. Just like that.
Just like that.